Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to playoff football. Before we begin tonight, we have some announcements here from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Fans, you're reminded that the broadcast and streaming rights of this event belong exclusively to the NFHS network and the MHSAA and those media outlets which have prearranged to secure those rights. And the individual streaming of this event is strictly prohibited. Also an announcement from the MHSAA social media section. Keeping up with everything MHSAA and social media. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for tournament updates, event announcements, video highlights, and high school sports news from around the state. It's the best way to connect with the MHSAA every day. Watch MHSAA Finals on MHSAA TV. That's right. Get your pass to watch live streaming video of MHSAA Fall Championships on the MHSAA.TV website. Our low cost of $10.99 per month gives you access to dozens of regular season games daily, as well as selected tournament events from the districts all the way through to the finals. Subscribe today at MHSAA.TV. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's an overview of the dates ahead for each round of this fall's football playoffs. 11-player football team, the first round is this week, October 29th, 30th, and today the 31st. After the first round of the districts, semifinals are next week, November 6th and 7th. After that, district final, November 13th and 14th. Moving on, the region finals, November 20th and 21st, right before Thanksgiving. Semifinals, state semifinal, November 27th and 28th. The championship state finals, December 5th and 6th. gentlemen, boys and girls, good afternoon. The Michigan High School Athletic Association welcomes you to Top Taggart Field for today's playoff game in the 2020 Division V 11-player football playoffs between the Lions of Newaygo and the Big Rapids Cardinals. For 45 years, Top Taggart Field has been host to the local Big Rapids High School Cardinals and also the MHSAA playoff football teams. We're glad you're here. Now that we're here, let's do all the things that got us here. For the players and coaches, it's hard work between the lines as well as doing what everyone else here should be doing. And that is masking up, social distancing, and taking the kind of personal responsibility necessary to keep the virus at bay. Enjoy the game, and remember that nothing beats good sportsmanship, and together we can beat COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star-Spangled Banner recalls our past, an ongoing fight for freedom, freedom of diversity,
Welcome back to more high school football. It's the Big Rapids Cardinals and Newaygo Lions facing off in the first round of the MHSA playoffs. Riley Edwards and Jeff Scarpelli here from the Isabella Banks Sports Studios, bringing you all the action from this playoff game. And back at the board, making sure we're on air and sounded as good as we can, Jessica Tucci. A big thanks to her on this Saturday afternoon for keeping us up to date. So 12 minutes up on the clock here in the first quarter, still zeros as we're awaiting the first kickoff of the game. And this will be an interesting game, a team that lets up a lot of points in Newaygo, and a team that's been on a roll scoring lately with Big Rapids. So they didn't get to play week 6. They had to forfeit due to some COVID issues. They still get the home field advantage. They finished 3-2 on the regular season. The only tough thing, that forfeit to Fremont ended a 3-game win streak. They were able to take down Chip Hills, Grant, and Tri-County all consecutively. It was a 27-13 win over Chip Hills. That was Sam Alley's last game. He threw 3 picks in that game. And then they went back-to-back with Will Strickler at quarterback. Sam Alley on the field with his hand up and looking downfield, waiting for that whistle. There it is, and he boots it away deep down the right sideline. Bounces to the 15, picked up by Wismar right there, and he's down the left sideline across the 30, across the 40. Has a couple men to beat and some blocking. Puts his shoulder down and also puts the ball on the ground, and Big Rapids is pointing their way. And they will say it's Big Rapids ball. So Jared Wismar, the senior running back who's been so good for this Newaygo team this season, turns it over on the opening kickoff. It's 1st and 10 from their own 40, and Big Rapids taking over quickly. It took just 9 seconds for the ball to be turned over for the first time in this game. And we're looking at this Big Rapids offense, a team that rushed for 586 yards this year and added another 434 yards through the air. First down and 10 from the 40, 11:51. Strickler in the gun. He's got Cooley right behind him. 2 wide receivers split wide right, a single one to the left. Snap, and it's a handoff up the middle. Cooley's got some room. He breaks across the 50 before he's brought down from behind. Mark him down at the 48-yard line. They move into Lions territory, and that stops the clock at 11:46 as the chain gang moves. It's first down and 10.
That's my guy.
Jack Cooley.
Cool man.
The
Ice
cool man.
Cube. Icy, slushy, whatever you want to call him.
Well, a big first down run in some cold conditions. Not as bad as it was at Tri-County, especially it being during the day. But the wind blowing hard from the backs and towards the end zone for Big Rapids. 11 and a half minutes left in this first quarter. The snap. Strickler takes it himself on the option, getting wide towards the numbers, and makes a cut across the 45, brought down near the 40 by a couple. Initial contact there made by Jaden Joseph, the junior, and that brings up second down and about 3 yards to go.
And Justin right there, he's got to stick with his block. He left his block. Well, he released his block, and that's the guy who ended up making the tackle. You got to stick with your block.
11 minutes left. It's second down and 3 from the 41, already in Newaygo territory. Big Rapids finishing the regular season 3-2. Newaygo finishing 2-4. Handoff to Cooley. He goes right side in an inside zone, gets across the 40. That'll be 3rd and 2. Now it was 3-3, a forfeit loss for Big Rapids. 2-4, a forfeit win for Newaygo this season. Only one actual win on the field, but you're talking to Mike Seltzer throughout this week. This is not a team they're going to take lightly. A team that'll come out and try to run the ball down your throat and get some points on the board. Their only problem this year has been stopping the opposing offenses. From the pistol, Cooley right behind Strickler takes a snap. Handoff up the middle, and Cooley, who lunges forward. This is going to be extremely close, and the line judge on the far side of the field near the first down marker says move them forward. It's first down and 10. Ball on the 38-yard line. Under 10 minutes left to play. 9:55 to be exact in the first quarter. Still no score between these two teams. Haven't seen the ball leave the ground yet. Every play's been a run. Averaging 117 yards on the ground per game is this Big Rapids offensive unit. And here's the first pass to Austin Venix across the middle. He falls across the 30 and close to the 25. They'll mark him down at the 26-yard line. It's 1st and 10. That is catch number 9 this season for Austin Venix. An interesting stat for him. He's the only receiver with 45-plus yards this season and no touchdowns. As we hit 9:25 left on the clock in this first quarter. It's 1st and 10 on the 27 in Lions territory. Still no score. Strickler in the gun. He's got Cooley to his left. Gorchevich and Alley wide left, and Kidder by himself to the right. Snap, handoff up the middle. Cooley gets across the 25, works to the 24, where he's brought down, makes it 2nd and 7. So quick first quarter. Already 3 minutes away. We have 9 minutes left and still no score. Opening kickoff was fumbled by Jared Wismar and recovered by the Cardinals. And now they're knocking on that door to the red zone. 8:40 left in the first quarter. 2nd down and 7 from the 24. In the gun, Cooley to his left. Strickler looking right. Now puts a man in motion. It's Kidder on a jet sweep. And he's brought down. No, he's bumped up across the 25, and this will likely be for no gain, maybe a loss of a few inches. But that'll bring him 3rd down and 7 to go.
Interviewing Will earlier this week, like I mentioned on the pregame show, Will was talking about how his money guy is Austin Venix over the middle. They don't use him that often, but whenever they do, every time, man, he's open for 10, 12 yards. We'll see if they go back to him right here, especially with someone like Jamal.
Well, you mentioned it in your sit-down with Will. You mentioned golden hands. A lot of those tight ends run crossing routes, flat routes, easy-to-access routes for young quarterbacks, and that's exactly what Will Strickler's been getting better at. Puts Gorchevich in motion from right to left. A pass across the middle is picked off on the interception. It's Cody Bassett, and he is downed at the 24-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Newaygo offense. Just the second interception this season for Will Strickler, and just his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, they tried. They tried to do exactly what I was talking about. However, Bassett was spying that. If you watched him, Benix immediately went out for his route. Bassett was spying it, and Will did not see him. Looks like we're going to get a hold on the Cardinals denied, so it'll be Newaygo football. But yeah, he was spying Will. Will did not pick up Bassett. Threw it right into his bear paws there, or lion paws, I guess you could say. It's just part of him growing up, though. Being able to, that's a tough read for a quarterback, pick that up.
So an interception gives the ball back to Newaygo, and this is our actual first chance to see this Newaygo offense with Brendan Brechting, the senior quarterback, in the gun. He's got a running back to his right, 2 wide receivers left, 1 to his right. 1st down and 10 from the 24. Stepping back to pass. He's throwing deep downfield, and this will be short to Wismar. And in coverage there was Xavier Prince, who was actually benefiting from this last week off, had a banged-up ankle, was able to recover somewhat from that. Now, obviously, you look at this past week somewhat negatively for Big Rapids. I asked Coach Seltzer, was this more like a bye week? He said, no, in a bye week we would have practice.
They couldn't do anything until Thursday.
Brechting takes the snap, hands it off right side. He gets across the 25 and near the 30-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 29, and that brings up 3rd down.
And that was a nice tackle by Sawyer Muse right there. It's kind of asserting some strength. Last year I was joking about it with, I think, Sam during one of those interviews, too, and he was talking about, hey, last year Sawyer was the backup quarterback, and now he's the center and a pretty powerful defensive lineman, it turns out.
Made the tackle on Amari James there to hold him to 3rd down. 3rd down and 5 to go from the 29. Brechting rolling left, throws left, too far out of bounds. His intended receiver was Wismar. Xander Prince, the sophomore, in coverage, and that brings up 4th down and about 5 to go.
So I've heard in the scouting report a couple different things about Brechting under center, passing the ball in particular. He can run. Everyone out of the Newaygo backfield can run. There's a lot of speed. Coach Pedigo was talking about that with me last night. Ton of speed out of the backfield. But, we got 4th down.
4th down, 5 to go from the 29, and now they'll step back and punt it away, and it takes a Newaygo punt and is downed at the 46-yard line, still in their own territory. So an interesting punt, a quick decision to take the snap by Brechting and drop back quickly to try to punt it away, and it just didn't get off in time. Well, it got off barely in time, just missing some defenders crashing in. 1st and 10 on the 46 in Lions territory for this Big Rapids offense. First drive ended in an interception from Will Strickler. He was picked off by Cody Bassett, the junior linebacker on the play. Strickler in the gun, hands it off up the middle. Jack Cooley puts his shoulder down and runs through Brendan Brechting, getting across the 35-yard line to the 34, and there's another 1st down run for Jack Cooley.
It's no secret that Coach Seltzer he likes to keep the ball on the ground, right? Today's going to probably be the day to do that with Jack Cooley. I could see Jack Cooley having a pretty big day here. Front line for the Cardinals getting a lot of good push. Jack's got plenty of room to get through there. I'd be surprised how much more Will pass, at least on this drive.
Kidder in motion from right to left. There's an option, and Will Strickler wrapped up in the backfield, and he's brought down hard, getting back there and making contact first. Eddie Hammond, the sophomore.
Well, that was just an incorrect read by Will. With seconds, as he said, seconds count, and he should have handed that ball off right from the get-go.
So we've had quite the start. First 3 drives, 2 by Newaygo, 1 by Big Rapids so far. Kickoff and then fumble by Newaygo. Big Rapids takes over, interception, and then punt by Newaygo. 2nd down and 15 from the 39. Strickler looking to pass, passing deep right downfield, and this ball overthrown, gets past the 10-yard line and goes incomplete. That brings up 3rd down and 15.
3rd and 15.
5:37 left on the clock in the first quarter. Still no score between the Cardinals and the Lions. Big Rapids on their second drive of the game, trying to get into the end zone first. Will Strickler started 3 weeks prior to this for Big Rapids. Started in week 1 only for the first half. It was a 12-7 loss against Central Montcalm. Week 4, he made his first start where he would continue to start for this Big Rapids team, which ended in a win 23-14 over Grant. And then in week 5, led the Cardinals to an overtime victory at Tri-County. That scored 29-22. 2-1 overall record at starting QB for Will Strickler. So 3rd and 15, the snap is a handoff backside to Justin Gorchevich. He's got some room across the 35, and a shoelace tackle brings him down at the 26, but there is a flag late near where the ball was taken down and on the Big Rapids sideline. Not sure if that's a playbook, but papers flying all across the field for Big Rapids. And head coach Scott Van Essen coming out talking to the referees about this penalty, and I think he's saying that this was way behind the play. And still trying to see what the referees are calling here, and it will be against Big Rapids a holding call. So they will replay 3rd down and 15. 5 minutes left on the clock here in the first quarter. Still no score between the Cardinals and Lions. Strickler in the gun. He's got a running back to his right. 2 wideouts left, 1 by himself to the right. That's Grant Kidder all by his lonesome. Strickler looks left, now rolling right on the pass, throws it away, gets it downfield and out of bounds towards Grant Kidder. And luckily that will get out of bounds and bring up 4th down in a punt scenario here for Big Rapids. Ball placed on the 39-yard line. Wind to their backs, helping them out here, deciding what they want to do. A punt, or a good punt here for Big Rapids, could pin Newaygo deep. So talking to Coach Souther, he said that Will Strickler, he's just getting more comfortable with his wide receivers, and also understanding that sometimes he has to throw that ball before the receiver completely becomes open, trying to catch that defense off guard. So it's 4th down and 15 from the 39. Strickler takes it from the gun, passes right side, gets it to Sam Alley, who takes a step forward and gets out of bounds at the 35. So that'll be a turnover on downs, and Newaygo will take over at the 30-yard line. So an interesting start to this game. Fumble, interception, punt, and now turnover on downs. The first 4 drives collectively between these two teams. So 1st down and 10 from that 30-yard line. Brechting in the pistol. He's got his running back behind him. Takes a snap, handoff right side, flag thrown, and the play whistle dead. Before a tackle can be made, Austin Venix and DJ Greenbay were right on top of Amari James for that tackle, if you would have been there. Instead, it'll be a false start. It'll move back to 1st down and 15 from the 25-yard line for Newaygo. So the whistle blown, and head coach Scott Van Essen coming onto the field to relay a couple signals to his offense. Brechting in the gun, moves its running back from right to left. Has a tight end to his left and a wide receiver split wide on each side. Play action now, throwing down the left sideline, and he missed his man by about 3 yards. Another close one as he was looking for Remy Wells going down the left sideline in coverage. It was Grant Kidder on the left side as he comes off to take a breather. Incomplete pass makes it 2nd down and 15, still on the 25-yard line. 4.5 minutes left in this first quarter, and still no score for Big Rapids or Newaygo. Couple of visual signs for the play calling of Scott Van Essen's offense, and he's going through the hand signals as well as they're prepared for their 2nd down and 15 play. Snap, handoff up the middle, and that was Wismar who took the handoff out the backfield, and he's brought down for a gain of only about 1. That brings it to 3rd down and about 13 to go. Ball moved up to the 27-yard line. 3rd and long as Brechting in the gun. Has 2 wide receivers right along with a tight end. 1 wide receiver by himself to the left. Takes a snap, rolling right, looking right. He's going to pull it down, and he'll be pushed out of bounds by a couple of Cardinals. Jack Cooley made the pressure to get him to pull it down. And then after that, it was Sawyer Muse who chased him out of bounds, a name we've been calling a ton on that defensive side of the ball lately.
Yeah, he's been very solid for him all season long. You know, the scouting report, kind of going back to what I was saying on their last drive on Brechting, he's not going to be able to pass it very accurately, but he'll be able to run it.
4th down and 9, Brechting in the gun. A hard count now, takes the snap, and he will do another punt from the shotgun. Gorchevitz back to return. It bounces at the 45, and it will be downed at the 46-yard line. So Big Rapids will start in their own territory here, and we'll have to go a little bit further. But it's basically just been giving the ball back and forth. The 2nd straight punt for Newaygo. Their drives today, fumble, punt, punt. So it hasn't been very productive offensively. Big Rapids has had some nice showings. Their first drive that looked like they had things moving ended in an interception, and then the turnover on downs in Newaygo territory their last time out.
The pressure is going to be kind of on the Cardinals, actually, to score. Because if this defense, we expected this defense to have a good showing against Newaygo. So if the Cardinals can get on the board at least twice, they could win.
Handoff up the middle. Cooley rushes forward. He's brought down at the 49-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 7 to go. 3.5 minutes left in this first quarter. A lot of running going on, but also a lot of just giving the ball back and forth. Still no score between the Lions and the Cardinals. Teams that usually play each other during the regular season. Now seeing each other in this first week of postseason play. Last year was a 49-28 Newaygo win. 2nd and 7. Kidder in motion. He'll take it on the jet sweep, and he puts it on the ground and just hops on top of it. Nick Ruheimer really just getting through and keeping contained there on that jet sweep and causing disruption. Brings up 3rd down and 12 after the loss of yardage. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this first quarter. In terms of offense, it's the 2nd time they've gone to that jet sweep to Grant Kidder. Coming into this game, he was just the team's 5th leading rusher with 19 yards on the ground. Has been much more effective through the air. Strickler in the gun, has a running back to his left, 2 wide receivers on each side. 3-step drop, looking to his left, he'll tuck it. He'll get across a 45, across a 50, across the other 45, near 1st down.
Got it.
And it looks like they will give it to him. So on 3rd down and 12, Strickler goes through his progressions, pulls it down, takes it himself for the 1st down.
You know, that's someone who wants to win right there. Will, he had a man right at the 1st down marker. He was flat-footed, and he recognized it, threw his shoulder, got the extra yard, maybe half yard even, got the 1st down. That's just a gamer play right there.
So Strickler stays in the pistol. Cooley behind him. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Handoff up the middle. Cooley tripped up across the 40. He's brought down at the 39-yard line. That brings up 2nd down and 5. Jack Cooley, have to remember that he missed the first 2 games due to some off-the-field issues, but he's come in late and done a really good job. Coming into this game was the 3rd leading rusher with 92 yards. Tied for 2nd on the team in rushing touchdowns with 1. Him and Justin Gorchevitz each have a single rushing touchdown apiece. So 2nd down and 5 from the 39. Strickler in the gun. takes a snap, handoff up the middle to Cooley, who gets another chunk of yardage. Give him about 2 on that play, brings him up to the 37, brings up 3rd down and short. Just a minute and a half left in this first quarter, still scoreless between Big Rapids and Newaygo.
Phoenix over the middle.
Maybe. Mentioned he's the only receiver with 45-plus yards this year without a touchdown. Those receiving touchdowns led by Jamal Strickland, who has 3, Sam Alley, and Xavier Prince, who have 2. This a reverse handoff to Justin Gorchevich. He's into some room across the 35, gets all the way across the 20. He's brought down at the 26-yard line, the 24-yard line. Chains will move. Clock stops at 57 seconds left in this first quarter. First down and 10 from the 24.
I mean, the Lions are actually getting decent penetration. They're reacting to these plays fairly effectively. It's just the fact that it takes about 2 players to bring down 1 Cardinal. I mean, he had him in the backfield right there for a loss. It turned into a first down.
Single wide receiver wide on each side. Running back in close is Cooley. Handoff up the middle. He'll get another 2 yards. Brings up 2nd down and 7. Also brings up 30 seconds left in this first quarter. That may be one of the last plays we've seen in this first quarter. Still no score, but almost to the red zone. Just a couple of yards to go. 5 rushing touchdowns in total this year for this Big Rapids offense. Only seen a few passes this game, one of them ending in an interception, and Mike Seltzer and his team will watch that clock tick out, and they will take it to the second quarter, so they'll start 2nd down and 8 on the 22, getting ready to score, and maybe the first score of the game. We'll get you that action after we come back with more between Big Rapids and Newaygo here on Big Country 100.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, now a message from your local Meyer. Local sports are the biggest win for our community. Those leaders teach good sportsmanship and bring us all together. That's why Meyer, going above and beyond to support hundreds of local teams in the Midwest, includes our very own right here in Big Rapids. From the Little League to the big leagues, and from uniforms to stadiums, Meyer knows that when we support the home team, we all win. We shop at your local Meyer store. Chocolate milk with essential nutrients every athlete needs, not typically found in traditional sports drinks. Next time you grab a beverage, whether it's in the lunchroom, out on the field, or at home, remember to rethink your drink and pick chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is the official beverage of the Michigan Athletic Association.
And ready for action here in the second quarter. Snap already and a swing pass to the right. Grant Kidder has it at the 20 across the 15, and he's dragged out of bounds by Brendan Brechting. They'll mark him down at the 14-yard line. That's enough for a first down. Another completion between Kidder and Strickler. The two found each other for an overtime touchdown in their last game in Week 5 against Tri-County. Ended up being the winning touchdown. Kidder coming into this game, the 4th leading receiver with 60 yards, and also 3rd place in touchdowns with 1. That touchdown came all the way back in Week 1. Man in motion from left to right. It's a handoff. Cooley up the middle, and he's in easily. He drops into the end zone from about 15 yards out. That's the first score of the afternoon. 11:50 left in the second quarter. It's a 6-0 Cardinals lead.
It's ice pop, man, right up the middle. It's beautiful. It's my guy.
Jack Cooley, with that touchdown on the season, moves himself into sole possession of second place in terms of touchdowns, only trailing Sam Alley, who has 3. Jack Cooley, that was his second. Kidder back to hold. He has the snap. It's down. The kick is up from Alley. and it sneaks inside the left upright, and that is good. Alley now 7 of 8 on PAT kicks this year and puts the Cardinals up 7-0. And what a very interesting first quarter. Some ball security issues on the kickoff for Newaygo. They fumble on the opening kickoff. That leads to the first drive for the Cardinals to get into their territory and then throw an interception. And then Newaygo has to punt it away. Turnover on down for Big Rapids. Another punt for Newaygo, and then a drive that started at the end of that first quarter, leading to a rushing touchdown here to start the second quarter, just 10 seconds in.
I didn't think this was going to be a defensive today. That's what I meant by the pressure's a little bit on the Cardinal offense, because if they can score, they'll be able to keep up with this Newaygo offense that we know can score a lot of points. We know their defense gives up way more. We know that they can also score a lot of points.
And this is an onside kick, and no hands team out there. And a chance to just hop on it. The big man on the front line, David Yoder, the senior, able to just collapse and get on it. He took a hit there while he was on the ground as well. Whistles blew pretty quick. Wasted just 2 seconds off the clock. And now the Lions will start on their own 49-yard line, so right at midfield, 1st and 10.
It's a bold move. Yeah. But I think that they identified that maybe someone was on that front line who might struggle with it, but David Yoder was up for the challenge. So we'll see, if the Cardinals can continue to shut down this run game, we'll see what this Lions offense can do to adjust to that with Brechting struggling with accuracy in his passing game.
And Brechting working out of the shotgun again, takes it, 3-step drop, looking left side downfield, and that's about 20 yards past his receiver.
And that was his best pass today, to be honest. Like, he had the most on that. That was good form. He set his feet. He had a good spiral, but he was not on the same page.
He was looking for Wismar there down the left side. Wismar was at about the 35, 30-yard line, and that ball was at the 20. So 11:40 left on the clock. It's 2nd and 10 from their own 49, and this is a team that we were told all week likes to try to run that ball down your throat, has some good, quick running backs and guys who can go out to wide receiver as well. And we've seen a lot of passing so far in this first half. Brechting, play action, swing pass left. It's bobbled.
Oh, he got it.
And it is intercepted at the 49-yard line. The Big Rapids sideline erupts, and that is an interception for Xander Prince, the sophomore, his first interception of the season.
What a catch. That's just being in the right place at the right time, but recognizing, being aware of your surroundings, and then making a play. Wow, he took that right off the turf, man.
Well, he now ties this season Xavier Prince in interceptions. He's tied for 2nd along with Justin Gorchevich and Xavier Prince. All of them trailing Grant Kidder has 2 picks on the season. So good field position starting at their own 49. Here comes the Big Rapids offense. Scored with 11:50 left in the second quarter. Trips left. Swing pass. Sam Alley. He's looking to pass downfield. He jukes out a couple of players. And again, reversing field. And he's brought down for a loss of about 7 yards. And Jeff, to my right, has his hands on his head. And you can hear that Big Rapids sideline yelling as well. He had Justin Gorchevich streaking down that left sideline.
All he had to do was get that ball off. I mean, there was not a lion in sight. And it's at least a first down.
That brings up 2nd down and 17. They move from the 49 to the 42 after the 7-yard loss. 10:50 left on the clock here in the second quarter. A 7-0 Big Rapids lead. Strickler has a running back to his left. That's Cooley. Takes a snap, looking left, has it to Alley on the wide receiver screen. He gets maybe a yard on the play, makes it 3rd down and 16. So not unusual to see a screenplay there on a 2nd and long play, trying to set you up and let you know what you have to do for this 3rd down. And especially the way athletic-wise we've seen Sam Alley out on the outside, not a bad decision.
No, and after going to him a few times like this, don't be afraid to go back to Venix over the middle. I know that they spied it out last time, but I wouldn't be afraid. He's got the golden hands.
So 3rd down and 15. 10 minutes left on the clock here in the second quarter. Kidder in motion from left to right. Strickler steps up in the pocket, breaks outside from the numbers, throws downfield. Kidder able to make the catch and gets both feet in bounds. They'll mark him out at the 30-yard line. That's good for a first down and about 20 yards more. They're now into Lions territory, 1st down and 10.
Boy, and Will's just picking up on that overtime win in Tri-County right there, scrambling around, extending a play, broken play. Defenses tend to break down, especially in the secondary. You saw Bennix go off his route and just try to get open. Kidder just started running towards the end zone, and Will just left it up there for him. Again, just put the ball in the vicinity of some of these kids and let them be the athlete. That's exactly what Grant did right there. Thing of beauty.
That's catch number 11 on the season for Grant Kidder. Also racking up the yardage. That may have been his longest receiving touchdown of the year as well. Handoff up the middle to Cooley, and he lunges forward to the 35. You have to love that out of your running back, trying to get those last few inches, maybe even a yard there, just keeping his feet chopping and trying to get on top of the pile. Brings up 2nd down and 6 from the 26, so getting close to that red zone again.
When I was chatting with Jack, too, one of the questions is, Jack, why do you think it's so hard to tackle? It seems like every time you run the ball, you're falling forward, one of those, quote, downhill runners. He's like, I don't know, man, I just keep my feet pumping. Now he does have a pretty good mustache going, too. I think that probably helps with some of that strength.
9 minutes flat on the clock. It's play action. No, it's a run. And here's a pitch outside to Grant Kidder as Will Strickler gets hit hard. And Kidder will move up past the 25. And they'll mark it right at the 25-yard line. So that brings up 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
Boy, that's a dangerous play when you have that option going out there, but Will creates separation from Grant by cutting to the inside, realizes his mistake, and then has to do a 2-hand, shovel pass almost backwards to Grant. I mean, it was a right call. Grant's got a little bit more oomph behind him than Will does, but just a little late.
Strickler has Cooley right to his right. Wide receiver close to the left, and Kidder by himself to the right. And Strickler getting rushed hard, and he's sacked before he even knows what's going on. It'll be a loss of about 5 yards, and that'll make it 4th down and 11. Moves him all the way back to the 30.
Great name here to Hudson Harkness on the blitz. So Coach Van Essen, I think, was sniffing out and an obvious passing down. The Cardinals are most likely going to pass. He sees that the majority of the time with Will, it takes him a little bit to get the ball off so far in this game. So bring some pressure, see if you can flush him out, get him on the run, get a sack, or at least push for an incompletion right there. They're able to get the sack, bring up 4th and long. Good call by Coach Van Essen.
So with 4th and long from the 30, looks like they're going for it. 2 wide receivers split on each side, and with 7.5 minutes left in this first half and a 7-0 lead, head coach Mike Seltzer will take his first time out. We'll take one along with them. 30 seconds, and we'll be back with more football here on Big Country 100.9. How long was that catch by Kidder?
Because I wanted to help others.
To make my visions come to life.
I wanted to be a part of a community.
Tightest season high.
To pursue my passions.
Back here on Big Country 100.9. 7:26 left on the clock here in the second quarter. It's 7-0 Big Rapids. They take a timeout. Proceeding the 4th and 11 here as the Cardinals running back onto the field. From inside the Isabella Bank Sports Studios, I'm Riley Edwards. Sitting just to my right, Jeff Scarpelli. And then back at the board, keeping us on air, Jessica Tucci. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon in this first round of MHSA playoffs. Big Rapids hosting Newaygo in this pre-district. 4th and 11 from the 30. Gorchevitz in motion from right to left. Strickler looking downfield, throws across the middle. He's got Austin Bennix who gets across the 15 And that's enough for a first down. Another catch for Austin Phoenix. That's number 10 on the season. 7:15 left to play in this second quarter.
Good vision by Will, and didn't try to throw it too much on the run either. He got that foot down, fired his fastball, hit Venix. Venix doesn't drop the ball. First down, Cardinals.
So a big fourth down conversion. And now it's first down and 10 from the 14. Kidder in motion. It's a handoff to Cooley. He goes zone left and gets about 3 yards on the carry. So a 7-0 game, 6:40 left on the clock here in the second quarter. And you look at that fourth down for Big Rapids. Coming into this game, they were 7 for 15 on fourth down conversions. They get 8 for 16, so 50% of the time now they're converting it. Actually, that's their second that they've converted this game. So 9 for 17. Second and 8, the snap, handoff, backside to Gorchevich. He makes a cut outside, gets across the 10, cuts back in, across the 5 towards the pylon, and he squeaks in for a Big Rapids touchdown. 13-0 after that touchdown run by Justin Gorchevich. 6:12 left on the clock here in the second quarter, awaiting the extra point.
This is making a play right there. Once again, Newaygo struggling to make the tackle. Gorchevich's taking advantage, put a couple jukes on his defender there before making a beeline for the pylon, scoring another 6 for the Cardinals. You know, it's kind of funny. I keep going back to this interview, but there's just so much from it with Will and Sam. And Will made an observation that Newaygo doesn't always like to tackle on defense, and you wonder how that works. And I think Gorchevich just showed it. We got a fake.
And the field goal, no, it's Sam Alley throwing towards the end zone, and it's caught! It bounced about 3 times off the hands of Aiden Dean, the senior wide receiver and offensive lineman.
I will tell you, that is not what Scott Pedigo drew up right there. That is not what he drew up, because it looked like the receiver was on the far side, streaking towards the corner. I think that was Prince on the far side, streaking to the corner. But Alley only gave him maybe a quarter-second glance before he started scrambling to the opposite side of the field. Fortunately, he throws it up, and Aiden plays some, circus play right there, juggling the ball before securing it. What a play, though.
Well, so we don't see the point after attempt from Sam Alley, which we mentioned he's only missed one of all season long. We see a 2-point conversion, and that brings it to 15-0, so possibly making this a 3-score game depending on what the Lions do. So just a 2-score game as of right now. 6 minutes, 12 seconds left in this second quarter, and Big Rapids set and ready to kick it back to the Lions. So first 2 times they've touched the ball in this second quarter, ending in rushing touchdowns for the Cardinals, one by Cooley, one by Gorchevich. And this little pooch kick to the right side, it'll be caught at the 30 by Remy Wells, and he will just fall, and that is where the Lions will start this drive here with 6:10 in the second quarter. Brendan Brechting, we've seen him underthrow some receivers, we've seen him overthrow some receivers. This offense hasn't looked very comfortable back there, Jeff, and you have to give a lot of credit to this Big Rapids defense.
Yeah, you have to wonder if Coach Van Essen kind of changed their usual game plan. Their MO is running the ball down your throat, and they haven't done that. So I think that he's giving some respect to this Cardinal front line.
Handoff up the middle, Wismar on the carry. He gets to about the 32-yard line, brings up 2nd down and 8, keeps the clock rolling. Under 6 minutes left to play now in this first half.
Number 67, Tavion Johnson on the stop for the Cardinals.
So this is drive number 5 for Newaygo. They've had a fumble, 2 punts, and an interception prior to this drive. So 5:40 before this snap gets off. Brechting takes it. He's rolling right, looking for a receiver. And getting hit hard, he completes the pass to the right side. And that catch is made by Eddie Hammond a sophomore linebacker and tight end for this team. Gives them about 6 yards, brings up 3rd down and 2. 5:15 left in this first half. Newaygo coming out this afternoon. All white uniforms, black helmet, number on the left side, and a white streak right down the middle. Brechting in the gun, has a running back right behind him. He'll hand it off. That's Wismar, who makes a move to get outside across the 40, across the 45, working towards the 50.
Wow.
And he's brought down by Justin Gorchevich, who comes down from safety. Initial wrap-up came from Xavier Prince.
Wismar limping a little bit after
Excuse
that.
me, Xander Prince. And you're right.
He's fine now.
Wismar back up and looking for that play call from the sideline.
It's been noted that every time he's playing, whenever he's in the game, this is a completely different offense. That was noted by more than a couple coaches and players for the Cardinals.
In the gun, Brechting, play action. Now he's looking down the left sideline. Xander Prince in coverage, and he was beat by about 2 steps, but the ball is incomplete, about 3 yards ahead of his intended receiver, and that was Brandon Badgero, the senior, streaking down the left sideline. So the incomplete pass brings up 2nd down and 10, and also stops the clock with 4:25 left in this first half. 2nd and 10 from their own 49-yard line. And we will see Badgero leave. Coming back into the game will be James Martinez. Usually wears number 5, wearing number 11 this afternoon. So numbers getting switched around as JV players coming up to fill some spots. Brechting takes a snap, a late handoff left side. Wismar, who's got some room across the 40 and across the 35. He's brought down at the 34-yard line in Big Rapids territory. Clock stops with 4:15 left. 1st and 10 from the 34.
That was an interesting play call, a fake option counter. And we'll have to see if Coach Van Essen starts going in a little deeper into his playbook here. Try to get the Lions on the board before halftime.
15-0 the score and the lead for Big Rapids. 3:55 left on the clock. Have to imagine this drive for Newaygo, being the closest they've come to scoring, is huge coming down to halftime. Brechting takes a snap, looking over the middle. It's incomplete. And the coaching staff from Newaygo looking for some pass interference, some bumping there between safeties and tight end. Once again, the intended receiver, Eddie Hammond. And you were able to sit down and talk to Sam Alley this week. One of the things you asked him about was getting moved to wide receiver. Not only is he getting moved to wide receiver, but since he's not playing quarterback, that's also getting him some defensive reps and in a big game here as he's lined up in the secondary, now playing one-on-one with Jared Wismar, one of the best offensive talent players on this team.
He just feels like he can be an athlete on defense, so this is a lot of fun for Sam.
Hard count on 2nd and 10. Now staring over at the sideline is Brechting getting the play. 2nd and 10 from the 34. Brechting takes the gun. Now looking right. He throws away, and it's too deep. A couple of yards past, and there are some late flags. Wismar with a few claps, and it looks like they may be calling Sam Alley for some pass interference.
I mean, was that ball catchable?
It was just a few yards past as now Wismar and Alley having a chat, walking back as the referees discussing what's going on. And it will go against Big Rapids, so the referee's moving the ball forward. It will be to the 19-yard line. So that is where it will be 1st and 10 for Newaygo. They had 2nd and 10 from the 34. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 19 after the pass interference call on Sam Alley. Brechting in the gun. He's got a tight end and 2 receivers to his left. Takes a snap, handoff up the middle. Wismar only makes it a few yards. Alec Bowman back there to make a difference, along with Jack Cooley and DJ Green Bay. 3:25 left on the clock here in this first half. A 15-0 lead for the Cardinals over the Lions. DJ Green Bay tied for the lead on this team in sacks. We've seen him get some penetration there. It's DJ Green Bay, Alec Bowman, and Tavion Johnson, who all have 1 sack for this Big Rapids defense. 2nd down and 8. Brechting, read option. He's got some room on the right side across the 15. Now to the 10, to the 5. Alec Bowman trips him up, and he falls into the end zone for a Newaygo touchdown. So cutting the lead in half, 15-6 before this extra point. And with 2:58 and 2 timeouts left in this first half, Big Rapids going to have another chance to streak down and score before halftime.
Yeah, they've scored in less time than this. But we knew that the Lions were going to score. The amount of points that they average per game, they're not going to get goose egg today. So we knew they're going to score. That's okay. You just want to limit the damage if you are the Cardinal defense. And what you've noticed here is Cardinals are not allowing a whole lot up the middle. So Coach Van Essen made an adjustment, and he started to go to the sidelines.
And there's a timeout with 2:58 left on the clock before the extra point. So it's still 15-6. We're still waiting for that extra point. I want to keep it here, Jeff. One, so we can give a shout out to some of our game sponsors for today's game. Farmers Insured Strickler Agency in downtown Big Rapids. Also Sam's Disposal. Flat rates, no contracts, no hidden fees. Call 796-2952 today to start your service. Also Bader & Sons, your local John Deere dealer. Outstanding in their field. Find out more at greentractors.com. Also, free live streaming for this game, sponsored by Schuberg Insurance Agency. Go to wwbr.com or get the free app for iOS and Android. Follow the game on any device and Facebook. So you mentioned this offense scores points. Their least amount of points this season came in Week 2 against Tri-County. They lost 27-6. But other than that, they've scored no less than 21 points. Most they've scored this season, 42 in a win against Fremont in Week 1, 42-14. Set for the extra point. Snap from the shotgun, and the throw to the right side to Wismar was about 5 feet outside of the back of the end zone. And the 2-point conversion will be no good. So the score will stay 15-6. Big Rapids still leading here from Top Taggart Field, 2:58 left. So a big score there, but they did leave Big Rapids with 2 timeouts and 3 minutes to go down and score here on this drive. What are you looking for, Jeff?
Slinging it, passing it. You see Coach Repke down there getting Will's arm loose. I think he's going to come out here and maybe gunsling it a little bit like he did at the end of that first half at Tri-County. If the Cardinals can go up 2 scores here, 3 scores actually, then that's a blow for Newaygo. They got to come back at halftime. What we've seen out of Newaygo, especially after talking with like Christian Bohr about that infamous 70-40 Reed City game, as well as Bastion Taylor about the Chip Hills game, this team seems to be a little bit more effective in the first half than the second half. So that bodes well for the Cardinals historically, but you never know. Coach Van Essen's making some pretty good adjustments in the second quarter here offensively, at least for the Lions. So I would imagine that that's going to continue into the third quarter.
And the kick is away. A flag already, and maybe some offsides there by Newaygo. Kick went out of bounds anyway, so a second flag. So depending on what Mike Seltzer does here, more than likely they're going to redo this kick. And actually, looks like Mike Seltzer will discuss with his team here what's going on. The Lions retreating back to the 35-yard line, and they will move 5 yards back and re-kick this. So still 2:58 left on the clock. Previous kick went out of bounds. It's a 15-6 Big Rapids lead over Newaygo. Just a beautiful day for some football here in Big Rapids. Not a cloud in the sky. Low to mid-50s this afternoon, and the wind blowing strong, about 11 miles per hour from the south. Kick towards the left side. This will only go second row. This is picked up by Xavier Prince. He's reversing the field across the 45, across the 50, across the 45, into Newaygo territory, and he will be downed at the 37-yard line. What a return there from Xavier Prince.
Yeah, just found the open side of the field. If you're Newaygo, you got to cut that off, especially on a short, up-in-the-air pass. And that should give you plenty of time to get downfield, cut off that side of the field, forcing Prince just to go straight ahead, essentially. They did not do that. He recognized it. Great return. Cardinals, I mean, this should be easy. They should be able to score here before halftime.
Called Xavier's name mostly from wide receiver, 48 catches and 48 yards and 2 touchdown catches this year. This is a read option. Will Strickler puts a face mask into the ground as he just shrugged off a defender. It was a valiant effort by Grant Harkness, but couldn't make the tackle. He runs out of bounds for about a 5-yard gain, but a flag on the play near the line of scrimmage. And it will be holding on Big Rapids, so instead of having a 5-yard run on first down, they'll move the opposite way.
Yeah, that was a nice run by Will. Will, as I've mentioned a few times, being as young as he is, a couple of these guys at the varsity level are going to be bigger than him, and that's expected. But in this game, he is asserting himself. I mean, he threw a shoulder pad to open up the game here to get the first down right there, threw a stiff arm just the heck out of Harkness, who is a big kid. So Will kind of asserting some strength here. He must have done some push-ups while they were shut down from practice.
Read option, and the handoff goes to Gorchevich, and he will lose even more yardage. The penalty had them backed up to the 44, and he's dropped at the 49-yard line. So a loss of 5, and that brings up, instead of first down and 17, second down and 22 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this quarter.
Now down under 2 minutes. We'll see if the Cardinals start going to the air. I spoke too soon. How do I do that? Keep doing that. The Grant Reed City game a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, they should pass the ball, and then he immediately threw a pick. I need to just shut my mouth.
Handoff up the middle will be to Cooley, who gets to the 45-yard line, and a timeout will be called by Newaygo. So with third down coming up, probably just going over some strategy and also trying to get that ball back with enough time to score. The Lions will be left with 1 timeout and 1 minute and 36 seconds left before this third down play.
Boy, that would be backbreaking if somehow the Lions are able to get on the board after that kick return in particular. So Cardinals, if you can't get the first down here, you want to at least be able to pin the Lions far enough back that, with only 1 timeout left. And Coach Van Essen predominantly relying on the ground game, that they're not able to drive all the way down the field before half. I think that's probably what Coach Seltzer's talking about here. His strategy changed a little bit after that big loss, as well as the penalty. So he's just trying to kill the clock. Coach Van Essen's trying to do the opposite. He wants to try to even this game up going into halftime.
So the end of this second quarter has really become something. A Brendan Brechting rushing touchdown has it 15-6. And now it's a run up the middle for Jack Cooley, who gets across the 40, or at the 40, and he'll be brought down. And that will be fourth down. Another timeout taken, the final one for Newaygo, and 1 minute 28 left on the clock. So, Jeff, we've seen a very good showing from this Big Rapids defense. Penetration up front. The linebackers, especially Jack Cooley, Alec Bowman, Austin Benix, really all getting in there and making some good tackles against a team that predominantly rushes the ball, although we've seen them throw a lot today.
Yeah, they've been going to the air a lot. I think that is respect. I think that's Coach Van Essen giving this Cardinal front line respect. He's still running up the middle a few times just to test the waters, but I think that's really what that's all about, trying to get Brechting into some kind of rhythm. Has not happened. He is still missing receivers by yards, many yards. But whenever the Lions get out to the edge on the ground, it is dangerous, big chunks.
Gorchevich with a laser of a punt that bounces at the 20-yard line, rolls across and inside the 10, and will be downed at about the 6-yard line. Heck of a punt there from Justin Gorchevich, who took the snap, rolled left, and just got it away. And it will be 1st down and 10 from their own 7. Newaygo will have the ball starting with 1 minute and 18 seconds left.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, after that penalty for the drive, Coach Seltzer's strategy changed. He's trying to kill the clock, and worst case scenario, you have the Lions where they are. You have them pinned back, and that's exactly what his team was able to do. Beautiful punt by Coach Evans. So let's see, it's good luck to Van Essen here. Let's see if he can drive these Lions down the field with 1 minute 18 and 1 timeout.
So with 1st and 10 from the 7, the huddle for Newaygo right on the goal line. They break and up to the line of scrimmage. From the gun, he has a running back to his right. Brechting looking right, now left. Takes the snap. Handoff backside, and a tackle made barely at the 3-yard line, nearly getting away. DJ Green Bay, Austin Manicky in there as well. Justin Gorchevich coming down in run support. And with a tackle so close to the end zone at the 3-yard line, brings up 2nd down and long, and a timeout taken.
Yeah, and this is just going back and forth now, right? Because I think now Van Essen's strategy is going to change to, let's just get out of here at this point. And Coach Seltzer's smelling some blood in the water. He's saying, hey, let's get this pressure going on these kids, see if maybe we can tack on another 2 points with a safety or force a turnover and score.
So the timeout taken with 1:06 left, taken by Mike Seltzer and the Cardinals. They have 1 timeout left. Lions have none. So with just a minute left, if you're Scott Van Essen, you're taking the timeout to ensure your team would have some time to run their offense down the field. But backed up on the 3-yard line, this could be more dangerous than anything, and especially how much penetration this Big Rapids defense has been getting. So with 1 more timeout, it's 2nd down and 14. Newaygo up to the line, and here comes that Big Rapids defense. In the gun, Brechting taking it himself, rushing down right, and there's a tackle by Austin Benix made at the 2-yard line. So another loss of yardage, brings up 3rd down, and the final timeout taken by the Cardinals stops it with 57 seconds left. It's a 15-6 lead for Big Rapids, and now with the ball nearly on the 2-yard line, this could be a very dangerous scenario for Newaygo.
Benix, he doesn't just have golden hands. He tackles like Brian Urlacher. He was not getting away from him right there, just out of the end zone. Great tackle. Yeah, I mean, right now this is just survival for the Lions, just trying to get out of here without giving up points in some way.
So it's 3rd and 15 from their own 2. 59 seconds left. You're down 15-6. If you're Newaygo, Coach Scarp, what's going on here?
You know what I would actually do? This is probably not, this is more Madden football than it is reality. I would do a pass over the middle. Quick pass over the middle, see if Coach Seltzer's going to bring the rain here, press his safeties. Maybe your guy can break off and score, or at least get a big chunk of yards or something like that.
And it will be a handoff up the middle. Wismar hit hard around the 8-yard line. He falls forward to the 9, and that will bring up 4th down. So neither team with a timeout here, but with 47 seconds left on the clock, it looks like Newaygo will have to punt it away just because of the play clock. So imagine we'll see this go down as far as it can for Newaygo. Actually, they may just run the play clock down and hurl it as far as they can. And Brechting drops back and gets the punt away with 23 seconds left. Prince has it, moves towards the right, breaks a tackle, now moving left. He's breaking it again across the 40, the 35, at the 30-yard line. He's brought down across the 25, mark them down at the 24, and there's 11 seconds left. This is well within range for a Big Rapids passing play.
Javi, man, he's showing some wherewithal, some vision on the kick and punt returns here. I mean, this is a thing of beauty. He's setting the Cardinals up for gold here.
They're at the 24-yard line. One of the longest plays of the day was a pass from Will Strickler to Austin Venix for 20 yards. That matches the season high, or the season long, on one play for Venix. So in the gun, running back to his right, Strickler has it, throws across the middle. It's late, It's tipped, it's picked up, and it's taken to pay dirt by Grant Kidder.
Wow.
The kid gets it off the bounce and scores with 5 seconds left in the half. It's 21-6.
And I think the current stance of Coach Van Essen, now he's mad, lost his headset, but that kind of sums up that play. Like, what do? I think he's probably saying knock that ball down, but if you're a defender right there, you're going for the pick.
Well, and that's a situation where some people would say that you play cornerback to lock down receivers, but you're usually there because your hands aren't as soft to play the offensive side of the ball. The snap is back, the kick is up, and
no good.
No good from Sam Alley. So just his second miss on an extra point this season. And there's 5 seconds left in this first half, 21-6. Big Rapids leading Newaygo. Make sure you stick around for our Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report. Myself and Jeff will have a ton for you there. Would also like to mention the Schuberg Insurance Agency, located in downtown Big Rapids, your local independent agency, community-driven, policyholder-focused, education-based, for the best rates on home, auto, business, and life. Also, Quality Car and Truck Repair, the area's only AAA service center, 220th Avenue, just west of 131 Big Rapids. Also, Williams Family Medical, your local independent family doctor in downtown Big Rapids, accepting new patients. Visit WilliamsFamilyMedical.com for more.
So far, this is just a game where more is going right for the Cardinals and for the Lions. It's kind of the natural luck you'd like to see in a playoff game if you're Big Rapids.
And here's another little pooch kick to the second row at the 40, getting returned across midfield and brought down. It was picked up and returned by Grant Harkness, who just tried to return field. He got past the 40 to the 42, and that is where this first half will end. So it's a 2-score lead for Big Rapids. 21-6. They score with just 5 seconds left in this first half. And we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll analyze that entire first half for you. And then we'll get back into the action in the second half. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report right here on Big Country 100.9.
Game of the week takes place on Fox Sports Detroit, cable television, and the Prep Zone. Will be recognized for excelling academically
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Top Tiger Field as we made it to halftime. We're here in the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report from the Isabella Bank Sports Studio. Riley Edwards, Jeff Scarpelli in the studio with you. Jessica on air here. It's 21-6. Big Rapids leading Newaygo here at halftime, and an interesting first half. All of those points that we see on the board right now, all 27 collectively, coming in that second quarter. Really, just a lot of good offense by Big Rapids, some mistakes here and there, but they really made up for it on the defensive side and just getting the ball in. If you look at that first score, it came right at the beginning of that second quarter, 11:50 left, and Jack Cooley rushing touchdown from about 15 yards out. And then another rushing touchdown, a drive later by Justin Borchevich, made it 14-0. 15-0. And then a rushing touchdown on the very next drive by Brandon Brechting from about 10 yards out, brought it to 15-6. And then with just 5 seconds left in that first half, a pass towards the middle from Will Strickland to Grant Kidder was popped up in the air, and Kidder collected it and stepped into the end zone. The PAT was drilled good by Sam Alley. And we have ourselves a 21-6 score here at halftime. I guess, Jeff, what are your initial thoughts on that first half?
Well, it took a minute for them to kind of figure each other out. Specifically for Coach Seltzer and company to figure out what was going on with Coach Scott Van Assen and the Lions. You know, a little bit of luck going the Cardinals' way. You always take it. You're not going to complain about it, you know. So, like that tipped ball that Grant happened to be in the right place. You know, then you have another tip earlier that Hobby is able to pick off the turf for the Cardinals. They weren't able to capitalize, but that's all right. You know, they're keeping it strong on the ground right now. Bowman here for his stats. Cardinals with 138 yards on the ground, 100 net yards on the ground so far. Jack Cooley leading the way with 80 yards in that first half, including that touchdown. He's averaging 5.7 carry. That's man stuff right there. Gorchevitz only has 4 carries. He's got 30 yards with it, though, so that's good for 7.5. He also has a touchdown. Will, 7 for 11 passing, 97 yards a pick, and a touchdown. His long is 27 yards. Grant, with that catch, 27-yard touchdown. We're talking about that as all one. Grant has 58 yards on 3 catches so far. Austin Bennings, 2 targets for 28 yards. Sam Alley's added another 2 targets for 11 yards. So Cardinal offense, you know, doing their thing. It took them a minute to get into a rhythm, but they did. Flipping over to the other side, he only has 63 yards for this Newaygo Lion offense on the ground. Very surprising for a team that's so dominant on the ground typically, and a team that can put up a lot of points on you. This Cardinal defense doing exactly what they're advertised to do. And I mean, that's have the front line and the backers shut down that run game up the middle, forcing Coach Van Essen to the outside. Passing-wise, 1 for 8 is Breckman for 6 yards and thrown a pick. He has not been anywhere near his receivers in passing the ball, and that was the scouting report on it. To be honest, that really was. I was talking to Bastion Taylor last night after the Chip Hills loss out at Oak Ridge that him and James Young covered. By the way, I also want to give a shout out to both of them. They did a great job for the Warriors calling these games this season, and they're tuning in right now. So thanks for listening, guys. But the passing, he was just talking about Breck game is he has bits where every now and then he'll hit a receiver, but for the most part, he's just going to kind of air one out and hope his receiver gets within the vicinity of the football. So he struggles a lot in the passing game. It's the run game that he makes his money on, but it's also the run game that Wismar makes his money on. Whenever Wismar's in the game, it's a different situation for the Lions. So we'll have to see if Coach Van Essen's going to continue to go deep into that playbook in the second half to try to get Wismar around the edge and into open space where he can do damage. We saw him run it was like a fake option to the far side of the field that then he handed it off to Wismar on a counter coming back to the near side of the field. That was a huge run for Wismar. He broke off probably 15-plus yards on it. That was the touchdown during the touchdown drive that the Lions had. You know, so something like that, is he going to continue to try to go to his bag of tricks? If anything, maybe have Breckdine go to the air in short, quick passes. But, you know, we'll see. Van Essen obviously knows how to run an offense. They score a lot of points. The problem is that they give up a lot of points, and they have quite the deficit right now. And as a team that can't rely on its defense, you know, you're going to have to rely on the Cardinals kind of shooting themselves in the foot in the second half with penalties and turnovers and everything like that. Cardinals have done a pretty good job of taking care of the football the latter half of the year. So I don't know if you can expect that in the second half. I would think that the Cardinals will come out and continue to put the pressure on them. I could see Coach Seltzer continuing to stay on the ground unless he has to go to the air. While that's a little bit predictable, it doesn't matter because stop it. So far, you've thrown up 21 points and a half. I'd say it's effective. I mean, you don't have to get tricky. If you have Jack Cooley running down the throat of every Newaygo Lion out there, keep giving him the ball.
Well, you mentioned this offense for Newaygo used to putting up points this season. The least they've scored this year is 6 points. That was in a 27-6 loss against Tri-County. They're currently tied for that with a 21-6 deficit for Newaygo here at halftime. Big Rapids, so leading 21-6 at halftime. You look at their record this year, the Cardinals are 3-0 when scoring 20 or more points in a game, and that has been the last 3 consecutive weeks they've played. Now, last week doesn't obviously count with the forfeit to Fremont because of some COVID issues, but before that they won 3 straight and put up 20-plus in all of them. And they've done that in the first half here, 21-6, and this has potential to be one of the bigger offensive games for Big Rapids in this season. So once again, your score at halftime, 21-6. We'll step aside for another 3 minutes, and we'll be back here on Big Country 100.9.
At Ferris State University, we want to prepare you for your future. Our students develop great critical thinking and communication skills with experienced faculty and over 40 programs. We help you build careers in arts, sciences, foreign languages, computers, and so much more. You're sure to grow and develop relationships and build your foundation. Start up your career in the College of Arts and Sciences at Ferris State University.
I came to Ferris because I wanted to help others.
To make my visions come to life.
I wanted to be a part of a community.
To pursue my passions.
There are few things more rewarding than adopting a dog or cat that needs your love. Here at the Animal Rescue Coalition, your new best friend is waiting for you to take him home. ARC is a no-kill shelter located in Mecosta County. We rescue a wide variety of cats and dogs who we love as if they were our own. Our motto is, "Rescued is my favorite breed." So come in and meet your new favorite friend today. Call us or visit our Facebook page for more information.
But then, you had Chip Hills. I think it was a little bit expected having a lower seed play a 2 seed. That was going to be the outcome. The Warriors fought hard through it, but I think that was kind of expected. You had Reed City in a separate region who just blew up Sheboygan. That was totally expected. But some of the shakeup that we've had here, Grant also won last night, so. It should be interesting. Cardinals win this one, though. They got to go to Oak Ridge, and that's going to be a tough game for them. But you can't look past 2 quarters here. You got to take care of business here. When you kind of flip over to our sister station here, I'll just do a little preview for you. Christian Boer's been calling the Reed City Coyotes on WBRN 1460 1077 all year long, and that team, there's just something about them. They're relentless. They just don't stop. They're going to be hosting like forever. They're going to be hosting until they go neutral site because of undefeated, but also, a win against Fremont is worth its weight in gold for playoff points. Big Rapids not getting that win against Fremont. They could have been the 1 seed. Big Rapids could have been the 1 seed if they had been able to play that last game and won it against Fremont, which would have been huge. Then you're hosting all the way through. Instead, now they're going to have to go to Oak Ridge. So whether Oak Ridge is the better team or not, they got to go there as opposed to hosting them. So that's an advantage for the Coyotes. Their opponent, whoever they play, is actually playing right now. So they'll find out who they play next week. They might play a Saturday game if it's because I think it's Standish and Kingsford playing today. It's Ogama and Kingsford playing today, so that's why they did a Saturday game, because Kingsford had to travel. The Flivers, kind of an unusual mascot, but they came all the way down from the UP. So we'll see who they play. It'll be an interesting, kind of playoff picture either way you go. We can jump down to the silver real quick for Jeff Roberts had Morley Stanwood covering them via the Rewind 99.1 Facebook page all year long. And unfortunately, the Mohawks got blanked for the 2nd straight game to end their season. They ended the regular season getting shut out at Beale City, and then they got blanked by Ravenna last night, so it unfortunately ended quite a monster season for Nelson. Rylan Nelson just was a man down there doing man's work. Unfortunately ended their season too. So we've had some consolidation, in who Big Rapids Radio covers, but that's okay. And hopefully we get to continue to cover the Cardinals here. They can take care of business in the second half, and then go to Oak Ridge and make a run. I mean, anything can happen. It's the playoffs, right? So that's why if you're Newaygo, you can't come out and have a turnoff on the opening kick or a turnover on the opening kickoff. You cannot have mistakes like that happen in the playoffs. It's crunch time here you got to take care of business. And as long as the Cardinals can protect the football in the second half, I think they can probably close this one out.
It's been an interesting game so far, and one that really looks like Big Rapids has been in control of nearly the whole time. Letting a touchdown up there at the end of the half, but they score one right back with 5 seconds left on a very interesting play. Pass between Will Strickler and Grant Kidder that ended up in a touchdown. So 21-6 the score, and I think this is a good time to mention today's game sponsors: Farmers Insurance Strickler Agency in downtown Big Rapids, Sam's Disposal, flat rates, no contracts, no hidden fees. Call 796-2952 today to start your service. Also, Bader & Sons, your local John Deere dealer, outstanding in their field. Find out more at greentractors.com. You might hear some of those cheers and cowbells as Big Rapids comes out into the field. They're about to stretch and go through their calisthenics. Well, Jeff and I will stretch and get ready for the second half up here in the booth. We'll be back in about a minute and a half here on Big Country 100.9.
I came to Ferris because I wanted to help others.
To make my visions come to life.
I wanted to be a part of a community.
To pursue my passions.
The second half of play here in Big Rapids. Just about another minute until they get back underway. Both teams circled up and getting ready to take the field for this second half, and we imagine that we'd see the ball on the ground a lot in the second half, not just to run down the time, but because it's been working and Newaygo hasn't necessarily been able to stop it. For Big Rapids, Jack Cooley, 14 rushes for 80 yards, has not lost a yard. All of the 80 yards he's had today have been gained. No loss, just a net of 80 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. He's really been leading this Big Rapids offense. Justin Gorchevich has helped out as well, 4 rushes for 35 yards and a touchdown of his own. Through the air, though, 7 completions on 11 attempts for Will Strickler, 97 yards, a touchdown. His longest pass, 27 yards, has thrown an interception. So we've seen good things through both the air and on the ground, and Jeff have pretty good sense that this ball will continue to be run up the middle.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Mr. Freeze is at it again, and until they stop him. That's what I was saying a couple minutes ago. It doesn't have to be complicated, until the Lions can stop some basic things that the Cardinals are doing, namely Cooley just going right at you. You may as well keep doing it.
Teams are lined up and getting ready for this kickoff. Newaygo received the ball first on a kick return that they fumbled and gave the ball right back to Big Rapids. So basically, the Cardinals getting the ball at the start of both halves. 12 minutes put back up on the clock here at Top Taggart Field, and the ball having some issues staying on the tee. Mentioned 11-mile-per-hour winds here in Big Rapids today, so maybe a holder needed, but they have it propped up on the tee now at the 40-yard line, and this looks like it could be another short kick. And the ball falls over just again as the kick team thought maybe they'd get it over, and they will call a holder. It's Grant Harkness that gets down on a knee and holds the ball down at the 40-yard line. The whistle, and the kick is away. It'll roll to Xander Prince on the right side, who's taken down hard at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10. That's where Big Rapids will take over in this second half. Just their 7th drive today, but see what they can do here.
1st and 10.
So 1st down and 10 from the 39 in their own territory. 11:56 on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. A 21-6 Cardinals lead. So in the gun, taking his time. Strickler looking over the defense. And a whistle blown, a flag back. And there will be a timeout called for Big Rapids. So some miscommunication and nearly a delay of game to start the second half.
Boy, that's really not what you want to see coming out of the half. You should have most of this scripted.
Time now for a message from your local Meyer. Local sports are the biggest win for a community.
So 11:56 on the clock and our first timeout. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and we'll come back quickly with more action here on Big Country 100.9.
Including your very own Meyer right here at Big Rapids.
Jeepers.
From the Little League to the Big League, and from uniforms to stadiums, Meyer knows that when we support the home team, we all win. Trust your local Meyer.
And just as we come back, the first play of the second half is ran. It was a read option for Will Strickler, who takes it himself towards the left side and will gain the line of scrimmage. It'll stay 2nd down and 10 from the 39. 11.5 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. Here from the Isabella Bank Sports Studios, Riley Edwards. To my right, Jeff Scarpelli. Back at the board, Jessica Tucci keeping us on air here on Big Country 100.9. 21-6 the score here in the second half. And the first drive of the second half here by Big Rapids, their 7th of the day. Strickler in the gun, puts Gorchevich in motion from left to right, and Strickler will keep it himself. He runs towards the 45, and he's dragged down to almost the 46. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 4 yards to go.
That's a good read by Will. I want to see that a little bit more.
Strickler had 5 rushes for 23 yards in that first half. Had a net gain of only 13 yards, had a loss of 10 on those rushes. It's kind of what we've seen from him this season, though. Coming into this game, he had gained 77 but lost 54 for net yardage of just 23 yards. Had no rushing touchdowns. Handoff up the middle to Jack Cooley. He breaks pass across the 35 to 30, the 20, and he's brought down at the 15-yard line. A big run and one of the biggest plays of the afternoon for Big Rapids. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line now.
Just ice pop going right up the middle, man. Nothing fancy.
And with that run, Jack Cooley well over 100 yards this afternoon. That'll move him well into 2nd place for rushing yards as well. Strickler will take it, hand it off up the middle. Cooley breaks past the 10 and falls forward to the 6-yard line. This will be extremely close to the 1st down marker. And they will say
2nd and like 2
first
inches.
Down.
There it is.
So it will be 1st down and goal from the 6-yard line. 6 yards between the Cardinals offense and a touchdown. 9:45 left in this 3rd quarter, and Jack Cooley tearing it up on this first drive. Cooley standing directly behind Strickler. Gorchevich to his left. Kidder, alley, wide to the right, and the Newaygo defense clapping as 3 different flags thrown on the field, and it will be a false start on Big Rapids.
False start. Big Rapids 5-yard penalty.
It's all right, though. Still got this. These are the mistakes you can't make, but that's okay. If you're going to make one, a little 5-yarder when you only need 11 yards now after the penalty, you live with that. Especially if Jack keeps running the way he has his last 2 downs.
Instead of 1st down and 6, it's 1st down and 11. Well, 1st down and goal, but that's the yardage. Handoff up the middle to Cooley, who works past the 10. And to run basically right into the entire Lions defense. That'll bring up 2nd down and goal. 10 yards between the Cardinals and Pater.
And that was David Yoder who kind of blew that one up, along with Ortiz Alvarez on that right side of the line. They both just jammed everything up for the Cardinals, and Mr. Freeze had nowhere to go. Couldn't skate on through.
So Strickler back in the gun. Cooley to his left. He has trips right. He's looking left. Austin Benix gets his first touchdown reception of the season. Only took till the first week of the playoffs, but he is racked up. He has racked up some stats here in this game alone, but you mentioned Will Strickler said he's got the golden hands. He runs a lot of those crossing routes. He ran just a little seam down the left hash that time inside the numbers, was able to haul it in inside the end zone, and that's his first touchdown catch of the season.
And that's what Will told me when I was chatting with him. Hey, he's our money guy. Austin Venix is there every time, and he's going to catch the ball. Look at that. Bing, bang, boom, as one would say. Touchdown Cardinals.
And the kick from Alley splits the uprights, and that makes it 28-6. 8:43 left in this 3rd quarter. And now Big Rapids will kick it back away to Newaygo. We did see Newaygo score at the very end of that 2nd quarter, so maybe some momentum coming this way for them. But the Lions defense looking like Swiss cheese there, and Jack Cooley just slicing it up.
There you go. You're getting your own puns involved in this one now too. This team is not built for a game like this in Newaygo. They're built to be a quick strike, get an early lead, continue to build on that lead, put a lot of pressure on the other team's offense to score, because their defense is just, I mean, it's like running through wet paper towel right now for Jack Cooley. So they don't want to play catch up, and they don't want to play catch up to this amount. It's going to be real tough for them. As long as the Cardinals just take care of the ball the rest of this game, don't give the Lions any freebies, don't give them a chance to come back into this game, I think that they can lock this down. I know it's early, but they can lock it down. Kickoff is a low line drive by Alley, fielded by Newaygo, about the 15, coming up past the 35 to 40, getting to the 50, and finally thrown out of bounds was Martinez.
There's a flag down by the 30-yard line now, so this kick's coming back. Still 8.5 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. And it will be a holding called on the receiving team. So Newaygo with the penalty against them, and that's about the last thing you needed there on that kick return. The opening kick return was fumbled, went right to Big Rapids. You have a kick return here to start the 2nd half for your offense. Get it past the 50, but then you have a holding. The flag was all the way down by the 30-yard line, so it'll be, well, they're going to move it back to about the 27 is where the Lions will take over 1st and 10.
Those are just mistakes you can't make. You know, you had great field position for yourself. You cannot make mistakes like that. You know, but it's going to be up to the Lions now to overcome it. But this Cardinal line, man, and you got Venix as a backer. Let's see who they got. Cooley and Venix as backers right now. Handoff up the middle is not going to get much, maybe 2 yards for the Lions. They'll make it 2nd and 8. That was Wismer. But yeah, I mean, that's about all you're going to get especially if you're going to run. They just ran the ball right at Green Bay. Green Bay and Manakee. I mean, good luck. Those are two of the best guys up on that line.
And now Brechting is in the gun. Passes left after he rolled right, and there's an incompletion. Hit Remy Wells right in the hands, and he definitely should have caught that ball. But instead of being a gain of what could have been a probably decent chunk of 5 or so yards, ends up in an incompletion, stops the clock with 8:01 left in this third quarter, and brings up 3rd down and 8 for the Lions from their own 29.
Yeah, I want to give Austin Manakee a little credit there, too, because he had a hand out, may have distracted the receiver from being able to focus in on that ball. It was a low throw. It would have been a tough shoelace catch, but probably should have been made. Man, Brechting really struggles to chuck the ball.
In the gun, play action. He's looking left again across the field and nearly hits the referee behind the defense as he was looking towards that left side for James Martinez. Goes incomplete, brings up 4th down and 8. Looked like a pretty simple slant play towards the middle, and like I said, the referee jumping out of the way and the ball just completely missing Martinez. So 2 wide receivers split left, 1 right, a tight end to the right as well. And Brechting has his running back to his right. Couple of hard counts. Now he backs up on 4th down and will punt this away. This is short. Bounces at the 50, and it is down at the 46-yard line. Touching it is Hudson Harkness, and that is where the Big Rapids offense will take over with 7:50. So the 49-yard line. It'll only take 51 yards for Big Rapids to get back in the end zone.
I'm not really sure about that punt scheme. I mean, everyone knows what you're going to do, so why not just set up and boot it away with everything you got? It set up the Cardinals pretty well all but one time.
Well, not every school has dual sport athletes like Big Rapids, as Strickler takes the ball himself, runs it to the 50. He gets a yard gain, 2nd down and 9. See a few guys, Grant Kidder, dual sport, along with Sam Alley. Both those guys playing soccer, too. Makes it a lot easier for some of those kicking. You see Justin Korchevich for Big Rapids, who has a pretty nice boot on those punts as well.
Yeah, I did chat with Sam a little bit about his kicking career, and he said that, so he played for Coach Fox, the head coach for Big Rapids varsity soccer boys. He played for him when he was younger, so I can credit his golden foot to the golden foot, Justin Fox.
Toss to the right as Alley comes in motion. He takes it, works across the 50, and gains a couple more yards. They'll give him 2. That brings up 3rd down and about 7 to go for a 1st down. 6:58 left on the clock. That's where it'll stop after Alley stepped out of bounds. 28-6 the lead for the Cardinals, and Alley's had an interesting season where he's kind of been all around at quarterback, really utilized his feet, came into this game leading this team with 273 rushing yards and adds a few more to it than there. Had 6 catches for 91 yards in his only game at receiver against Tri-County, and he continues to be an effect on the field as Strickler takes it on the read option himself, breaks another tackle across the 30. Gorchevich has a block that lets him gets up to the 20-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 19, and that'll be another 1st down and 10 for the Cardinals.
Just an athlete right there, but also very smart run by Will. He's getting to the outside. He has one man to beat. He makes him miss. He tried to grab his jersey, bring him down. Makes his man miss, and then he follows a blocker. I mean, that's what you got to do. Don't run ahead of your blocker. They're not always as fast as you are. Fortunately, Justin is, so he was able to stay ahead of Will. That's just a smart run by Will. That's what you like to see, too. Now, I'd go over the middle. Let's go back to the golden hands.
1st and 10. They did move the ball back to the 20. 2 wide receivers split wide right, Kidder and Alley. This will be a handoff to Cooley up the middle, who gets about 3 yards. And will bring it to 2nd down and 7. So 6:10 left in this third quarter, 28-6 in this lead, starting to get a little out of hand. Well, if you're on the Newaygo side, for the Cardinals, you've been waiting for a game like this all season. Shown some good things, and now you have the defense and the offense firing on all cylinders at the same time. Strickler with a couple hard counts. Now takes a look at those linebackers, hands it off to Cooley up the middle, who breaks through across the 15 towards the 10. They'll bring him down at the 12. Brings up 3rd down and short. Just 2 yards to go for the first down. 5.5 minutes left in this 3rd quarter.
I don't want to be too critical of Newaygo or anything, but I mean, Will was not lying when he said that this defense doesn't always like to tackle people. Right there, Jack once again had contact at the line, but he's able to plow through a couple defenders, get more yardage. We're going to go right back to him. He's easily going to get this first down.
Another handoff, and you're right, he does. He gets past. They'll mark him down at the 9-yard line, and now it'll be 1st and goal. 9 yards from the end zone. 5:07 as the clock stopped as chain gang getting set. Clock now ticking down past 5 minutes. You look at the scoring differential here. Big Rapids was outscored this year by opponents 99-105. Now, with this added on, they weren't outscored. But you take out one big game, and that's against Reed City in Week 2, 44-13, and those stats look totally different. As read option, Strickler takes it himself, scoots up across the 5 towards the end zone.
Oh, how did he not get in?
And he must be stopped inches short.
Wow, good run. Will just, I mean, looking like an athlete out there. Giving some shake and bake, cutting up field.
They will start it. Well, they will snap this ball at about the half-yard line. 2nd down and goal, 4:10 left in the 3rd quarter, 28-6 the lead for Big Rapids, and just trying to make it a bit bigger here. So Strickler taking a look at the defense. He's got his running back Cooley right behind them. Kidder split wide right. Gorchevich, the split end left. Takes a snap, handoff to Cooley, who puts his head down and easily gets in for the touchdown. Cooley's 2nd rushing touchdown of the afternoon. Cooley has 2 rushing touchdowns. Will Strickler has 2 passing touchdowns. And Justin Gorchevich responsible for the other rushing touchdown. So that comes across with 3:47 left, makes it 34-6 for the Cardinals over the Lions. Kidder gets a snap, holds it down. The kick from Alley is up, and that one is easily good. 35-6. We'll take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be back with the next drive for Newaygo here on Big Country 100.9.
The future is now in the Digital Media Software Engineering program at Ferris State University. With project-based curriculum, collaborative learning, small class sizes, dedicated labs, and a 100% internship placement rate, the software engineering program will lead you to a bright future. Opportunities are expanding to complete the degree online. In a field with high demand, our graduates are at the front of the line. The Digital Media Software Engineering program at Ferris State. Prepare for tomorrow, today.
Back here from Top Taggart Field on the campus of Ferris State University. A beautiful day for some playoff football. Round 1 of the MHSAA playoffs has Big Rapids hosting Newaygo, and we've made it all the way to 3:47 left in this 3rd quarter. It's a 35-6 lead for the Cardinals. They just went down the field again and scored on another Jack Cooley rushing touchdown, his 2nd of the afternoon. Riley Edwards here with you on Big Country 100.9, joined by Coach Jeff Scarpelli. And Sam Alley just squibs this up the middle. It's bobbled around the 30-yard line, now picked up across the 40. Gets a few blocks to the 45, and they'll stop him with forward progress at the 46-yard line. Newaygo will start in their own territory with 3:38 left in this 3rd quarter.
It's getting to be crunch time here for the Lions. They got to score quick, cause a turnover if they want a chance to stay in this. And this game is very much out of hand at this current pace. I mean, we're getting close to the final score of Big Rapids scores one more time. We're at the final score of last night's Reed City Sheboygan blowout. That was a running clock, second half.
Well, at the half, we talked about it, but just 1 for 8 through the air, and that's going to hurt them really bad if they can't get any of the air game figured out. As Brechting steps back to pass now, he moves forward. He's taking it himself across the 50, across the 45, runs backwards where he breaks a couple of tackles and is brought down really close to the first down marker, where it looks like they'll have him maybe a half-yard short. Brings up second down and maybe 6 inches, but that looked like a designed quarterback draw for Brechting, who took it up the middle.
Yeah, didn't get the best spot, I don't think. It looked like he had the first down, but that's his strength right there. You know, you get some of these design runs going for Brechting, or you can get away to get Wismar out into the open around the edge, and they can score quickly. But we'll see how this Cardinal defense responds.
Brechting takes the snap. He's rolling right now, throws left across the field. He's got a wide open receiver, and his man, James Martinez, gets in for a touchdown easily. And blown coverage on the far left side of the field leads to a long passing touchdown for Brendan Brechting. Mentioned just 1 for 8 in that first half. Wasn't much better in the first drive of the second half, but just a very easy completion to a wide open receiver makes it 35-12.
Yeah, I kind of actually like that call by Coach Van Essen, because he was bringing everyone to the near side of the field to try to fake a run, pass it back across the field. He gave Brechting the opportunity to just throw it in the vicinity. Now he's got an extra
point conversion. He goes to Wismar in the back corner, who gets it. Him and Prince got there at the same time, and it was just basically a fight for who could come down with the ball, and it was Wismar easily who ripped it out of the hands of Xander Prince. So a quick touchdown. You mentioned it was crunch time, and they must have heard you, because they scored almost within seconds. It took them less than a minute to score there.
Yeah, that was quick, and Brechting looked a lot better. I was saying on the touchdown pass, I mean, that was just an opportunity in a design play by Coach Van Essen there to just have Brechting just throw the ball to a vicinity, a quadrant on the field, because his man was so wide open. But that last pass, that was a nice pass by Brendan. You know, he had a good spiral on it, put a loft on it away from the defender so that Wismar could grab it. That wasn't a bad pass at all. So if he starts finding his stride, you know, the Lions might start putting up some points here late in this third quarter, but their defense has yet to even, you know, put up an effort against the Cardinals. And
a fair catch by Xander Prince just by the 40-yard line. We'll mark him down at the 39. And interesting decision there, but with a 35-14 lead, no need to risk things. Stops the clock with 2:45 left on the clock in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 39.
I don't hate it. He almost ran it back, it looked like. Would have been a flag, but I don't hate that. You know, whatever. Just play it safe. You already have good field position. You don't have to try anything else. At this point, it's all about not turning the ball over for the Cardinals.
So after the rushing touchdown for Jack Cooley on the last drive, here comes the Big Rapids offense. 1st and 10, Strickler looking right, throwing way downfield to Sam Alley, was trying to go back shoulder one-on-one, and the ball just going out of bounds. 2:39 left on the clock. Incompletion brings up 2nd and 10.
I don't hate that pass. It looks like a strong pass, but that's only because Sam got jammed up a little bit with his defender. You know, if he's able to run full speed, he hits him on the fly, and he's gone. I don't hate that pass at all. Best thing about it, it has no chance of getting picked off. He didn't underthrow it, which we saw Will doing earlier in the season. I mean, this young man has just matured before our very eyes. You know, from quarter to quarter, he gets better and better. And some of these passes, like right there, he just stepped up and fired one away from the defender. Let your receiver make a play if there is one.
In motion, read option. Strickler takes it himself, moving to the outside. Wismar will finally bring him down. Had him wrapped up by the waist at the 40. Strickler took him to about the 42-yard line before Wismar finally finished the tackle by the shoelaces. 2:20 left on the clock here in the third quarter. That brings up 3rd down and 7 after about a 3-yard gain. 35-14, Cardinals lead the Lions here in the pre-district round of the MHSA playoffs. Big Rapids, even though they only played 5 games, you only had to play 4 to get into the playoffs. And they earned themselves a 3 seed with a 3-3 record.
Yeah,
and a flag thrown before the ball snapped, and
that play was wildly out of sync.
This is more than likely going to be a false start. A lot of movement up on the offensive line for Big Rapids, and it will be a false start. So instead of 3rd and 7, you'll have 3rd and 12 coming up, and imagine in their own territory, you'll see the ball go to the air.
Venix. Go to Venix.
Last 3 drives for Big Rapids have ended in touchdowns. Passing touchdown, rushing touchdown. Goes all the way back till the end of that first half. Strickler takes a snap quickly, gets it to Grant Kidder in the flat, who makes a move and falls across the 45. He'll be marked down about 3 yards shy of the first down. Brings up 4th, near midfield, so an interesting decision here for Mike Selson. It looks like he may be sending out the punt team.
Yeah, and that was a nice tackle by Jaden Joseph, number 8 for the Lions. Grant put a good move on him, but Joseph just able to grab his shoelaces and bring him down. He gets by him, that's a first down.
Big Rapids lined up in punt formation. They haven't punted since their 5th drive of the game. They're completing drive number 9, but this is a fake punt. A pass from Ali. He has Kidder across the 30, the 25, and a massive hit. Kidder puts his shoulder down and blows up Brechting, and then steps out of bounds for a long first down. Gets them all the way to the 24-yard line, knocking on the door to the red zone, and Brechting kind of shaking his head and walking back to his safety position as he kind of got shown up there by Grant Kidder.
Yeah, that was an exclamation point for sure. You beat the Lions on a fake punt. He's wide open. I mean, no one even paid attention to him. And then you blow up Brechting to end the play. Grant, he's strong.
Well, for one of the first times this season here from Top Taggart Field, you probably heard that one at home.
Yes.
Having some issues with the crowd mic this season, but seems to be working at the moment. Strickler takes a snap, handoff up the middle to Cooley. He goes about 2 yards, makes it 2nd down and 8 to go.
And I would say the rest of this game, again, the way things are going, Jack Cooley he's in the driver's seat here. I mean, you're going to eat up clock with him as long as he can get 3-4 yards a carry. That's some first downs before you know what this game's over. So until they can stop him consistently, I would just keep feeding him.
25 seconds left on the clock in the 3rd quarter, 35-14. The lead for Big Rapids. Strickler standing in the gun, having a conversation with Cooley. Takes the snap, hands it off backside. This is Sam Alley across the 15, across the 10, and hits Wismer pretty hard and takes him down to the 2-yard line, where Alley will finally hit the turf as well. Have to like how these receivers and running backs are getting very physical with these members of the secondary from Newaygo.
Yeah, they got, I got my Walter Payton jersey on for this game, and they're showing me some Walter right now. Instead of going out of bounds, even your quarterback, sophomore quarterback in Will Strickler, is putting his shoulder down and getting a couple extra yards. Sam had his eyes on that pylon, and he just put his shoulder down to try to get there. You got to love that. I mean, you just got to love it.
So from the 2-yard line, it's 1st and goal with just 10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Snap, handoff to Jack Cooley, and he rumbles into the end zone for a touchdown, his 3rd of the afternoon. In terms of rushing touchdowns this season, Sam Alley led the team with 3. Jack Cooley with 3 here today takes the lead 4-1. So just 1 rushing touchdown for Jack Cooley in 3 games played this season. In the first round of the playoffs, he has 3 alone and well over 100 yards. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So the PAT, good from Sam Alley, and it's now a 42-14 lead for Big Rapids. We'll take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be back with more football here on Big Country 100.9. Just 7 seconds left in this third quarter, but we're set and ready to kick off. Alley, with his hand up, watches the ball fall off the tee because of the wind again, and immediately Justin Gorchevich will hold it on the tee, and after the whistle, the boot is away, bounces to 30, gets all the way back to Martinez at the 15-yard line. He's approaching the 30 on the left side, rushing towards his own sideline, just runs out of bounds past the 35. He'll be marked out at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, that's where the Lions will take over. So the Lions were able to get into the end zone on their last drive. 2:47 left in this quarter. They had a long touchdown from Brechting to Martinez, capped off by a 2-point conversion between Brechting and Wismar. That's how we got to 42-14 after the rushing touchdown by Cooley just a moment ago. And after that kick, that will end the third quarter. So unfortunately, we'll take another 30-second break, but we'll have even more action in this fourth quarter. 42-14, we'll be back here on Big Country 100.9.
So, basically, this is the last time the Rapids scored 42.
Individual and family plans with competitive rates and new Medicare Advantage plans with monthly premiums.
Quarter has concluded. 12 minutes up for the fourth quarter here from Top Taggart Field. 42-14. The lead for Big Rapids, and Newaygo's offense back on the field. A swing pass towards the left side, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver Remy Wells overthrown, and the ball went to the Big Rapids sideline. Incompletion brings up 2nd and 10 from the 35. 11:53 left on the clock here in the fourth quarter.
And Javi was all over that play. Xavier Prince, stepping up, a.k.a. Javi, to blow that play up. 2nd down here. They're going to fake the pass, run it right up the middle. And that's good for about 9. They're going to say 10 yards. So that's a nice run by, I think it was Rumeyer.
First down run.
So it's 1st down and 10 from the 45. 11:40 left on the clock, and scoring a ton of points hasn't really been the name of this Big Rapids team the last couple years, as Brechting looking to pass, has a man down the right sideline and had him, but missed him by about 2 yards, and that was close to catching James Martinez for another lengthy touchdown, but instead that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 with 11 and a half minutes left in this fourth quarter. You got to look all the way back to 2018 for the last time they scored 42 or more points. First time was September 7th. They won against Fremont 61-14. But you look even later on in that season, October 5th, 2018, a 58-22 win over Chip Hills, and then Grant, they were able to beat 46-22. So the last time scoring 42 or more was October 12th, as another run up the middle by Brechting, and he'll actually break forward to get this one. He'll get 11 yards on the play, move the chains again, stop the clock with 11:21.
Line first down. 1st and 10, Newaygo.
Newaygo trying to put together their first back-to-back touchdown drives. They scored their only touchdown of the first half in the second quarter And they were able to score on their second drive of this second half. Brechting in the gun. Has a running back to his right, has a tight end and 2 wide receivers right. 1 wide receiver to the left by themselves. Takes it, now looking back towards the middle of the field. It's deep and over the safety as Brody Sleeper was in the area of that ball. Also Kyson Storm Williams in coverage as the intended receiver was Nick Ruheimer. Missed him by about 3 yards, and only the deep safety Sleeper there by about a yard.
He's getting closer, a lot closer than he was in the first quarter, but at this point, there's not really room for a margin of error. I mean, the Lions got to get on the board rapidly, very quickly.
2nd and 10, handoff up the middle, and a stop made there by Tavion Johnson, making a nice arm tackle, just stuck it out, grabbed the runner, and drug him to the ground as Jared Wismar. Not an easy guy to bring down.
No, that's how you know someone's strong, too. They can just one-arm you to the ground. I think I've seen a guy like Akeem Hicks or someone like that do that in the NFL. You know, a big 6'6" guy, you know, weighs well over 350. But Johnson there was just, that's bear power.
Brechting takes a snap, rolling right, has his man Martinez, good for a first down. Cooley will be able to come over and make the tackle. Sleeper coming in to help as well. That'll move the chains. Clock stops with 10-12 left in this fourth quarter, 42-14. First down and 10 from the 31-yard line in Big Rapids territory.
I mean, you can just see it with Brechting. Every now and then, right there, pass on the run, that was a dart.
Brechting, handoff up the middle, Wismar deep in his own territory, and he'll be dropped for a loss of yardage. Initial contact in the backfield made by Alec Bowman. Then he was chased down by Xander Prince.
Well, the Juice took pretty good stiff arm to the face there, but he was able to jam up Wismar enough until, you know, the Cardinals, who always flock to the ball, he had reinforcements show up and put him down.
Pass from Brechting is intercepted. The interception by Prince, and he's brought down across the 35-yard line. Another swing pass to the left that's just wildly inaccurate and ends up in the hands of Xavier Prince.
And that's a play call I'm not really sure about either, because Javi has been all over that all game long. And Brechting, who is struggling to make passes when he's looking at you, when he's staring you down. So now you're going to have him once again look to the far side of the field and then blindly come back the other way. I mean, Javi was all over it.
Xavier Prince had 1 interception coming into this game. Xander Prince intercepted in the first half, tied them at 1, and all of a sudden, Xavier back in the driver's seat. Will Strickler will take it himself, right side across the 50, across the 45, and he's taken down out of bounds. They'll mark him down at the 43-yard line as him and his tight end, Austin Venix, have a chat on the sideline, hyping each other up as Venix getting some time on the bench as he's had a very nice game from that tight end and middle linebacker spot.
Yeah, Austin just getting some hair time down there on the sideline, just letting the wind get into that hair.
He does have the flow, flipping it around down there on the bench.
Yeah, before he gets ready to head back out there and maybe put those hands to work.
First down and 10 in Newaygo territory from the 43-yard line. 42-14, Big Rapids leading. Strickler in the gun, Cooley to his left, puts a man in motion. Kidder from right to left. He takes it on the jet sweep, cuts up field. He's across the 40 and taken down hard. He'll get a couple more yards. He'll move to the 38-yard line. Big tackle there by David Yoder, who came in late and hit him hard. So 2nd down and 5 yards to go after the 5-yard gain on the jet sweep by Kidder. Under 9 minutes left to play in the game, 42-14. In the gun, Gorchevitz in motion from left to right. He has the handoff now. He's trying to get wide, gets across the 40, across the 35, where he's brought down by a couple. Got to give credit to Jaden Joseph and Cam Gooden on the tackle. Makes it 3rd down and 1.
When you had Nick Rumeyer was in pursuit coming up behind him. He was just going for the strip, though. He wasn't actually going for a tackle at all. I mean, he was on Gorchevitz's back for maybe 5 yards there, but he was just trying to knock that ball out.
It's about the only thing that helps at this point if you're Newaygo, trying to get that ball out. Strickler in the gun. Jack Cooley behind him puts Kidder in motion from right to left, and Strickler in the read option will take it himself. Gets outside, makes a move across the 30. He's got the first down, and he's knocked out of bounds. A big hit towards the sideline by Chad Saucier. Moves the change, stops the clock with 7:59 on the clock.
Boy, Will is really starting to get these keys down. I mean, he's had consecutive of the run plays out of this Veer offense that he's able to get those keys down, see who's crashing, make the right read, get the ball, either keep it or get the ball to where it needs to go. He's really starting to roll with this offense.
They'll make a change in that offensive line. Austin Manicky coming off to take a breather. River Rahal on the bench as well. As snap, handoff to Gorchevich. Right side gets across the 25, drugged down towards the 22-yard line. That'll bring up second down, but there is a flag towards the middle of the field, so see what this one's about. The clock is still running. Actually, it stops now at 7:36. Wasted about 4 or 5 seconds there, but it will be, looks like a holding call against Big Rapids.
It's Ian James. What are you doing, Ian?
And it will be a holding call. So they move back. It's now first down and long from the 33. It'll be first down and 16. 42-14, the lead for the Cardinals over the Lions. Kidder in motion from right to left, and another handoff up the middle to Jack Cooley, who breaks free and lays out a couple other Lions, breaking forward back to the 24.
I mean, Iceberg dead ahead. Jack just plowing through right there, putting the head down, using everything he got. Oh, that's a man's work.
We don't have one of these for our post game, but actually we do tonight. Let's not give any sneak peeks to the player of the game, but Jack Cooley has had himself a heck of a game. Austin Venix, Will Strickler, many others on this team eligible for that award.
Yeah, it's going to be tough today.
We'll have to take a gander at the final stats from Mr. Bowman sitting to our left after this game's over. 6:35 left in the fourth quarter. It's a handoff up the middle to Justin Gorchevich. Gets about a yard, and that brings up third down, about 4 to go.
Third and 6, Cardinals.
6:10 left on the clock. It's a 42-14 lead for Big Rapids. Newaygo really just trying to hold on to see if they can score again, but the Cardinals doing a great job of running this clock down. It's a jet sweep. Left side, Grant Kidder has a man to block. That was Gorchevich in front of him who missed, and he was taken down. They were outmanned on the outside. Brings up fourth down, and you would say inside the 25-yard line that the wind wasn't blowing around 10 mile an hour straight into your face. This is probably a situation where you'd see Sam Alley, but with the wind blowing, they'll probably just keep it on the ground. And it looks like there is a
there was a flag
penalty.
Hidden. Yeah, far side of the field.
There's a penalty, and it looks like they're.
Is that a face mask?
It looked like they called a face mask. It was a very quick motion up here towards the press box. Clock now rolling back down. 5:45 left in the game as Will Strickler runs back in from the play call from Coach Mike Seltzer.
After the penalty, 3rd and 2 for the Cardinals.
So all this offense was created today without the presence of Jamal Strickland, who came in leading in yards and receiving touchdowns, 146 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. There's a handoff up the middle, and Gorchevich able to run forward for another first down. Mark him down at the the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 from there. 5:17 left on the clock, 42-14. Cardinals giving a beat down to the Lions. Team that they did not play in this regular season.
Well, it took them a second to figure them out, but when they did, boy, they did quickly.
That they did, especially in the second half. We went into halftime with a 21-6 lead for Big Rapids as Gorchevich gets the handoff up the middle, and Strickler just kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, at least I'm not carrying that one. Wasn't any room there. Mentioned these teams haven't played during the regular season. The last time that Big Rapids and Newaygo did not play during the regular season, you have to go all the way back to 2011. No game between them there. The history between the two teams has been a little back and forth. It's 3-5 in favor of the Newaygo's. There's a handoff up the middle, and it's good for a good chunk of yardage. Gets them inside the 10. Mark them down at the 7-yard line. As it was Kyson Storm Williams, Justin Gorchevich on the carry. Clock now under 4 minutes, 3:40 left in the game. 42-14, the lead for Big Rapids. Strickler in the gun. He's got Gorchevich to his left. Alec Bowman in, split left as well. Grant Kidder in motion. He gets a jet sweep. He's got to cut it upfield. He breaks a tackle across the 5, and he'll be drugged down at the 2-yard line. 3:20 left on the clock. And this will be enough for a first down. So first down and goal from the 3-yard line. So add another win to that total. Big Rapids, after 3 minutes here at Top Taggart Field, will move to 4-0 this season when scoring 20 or more points. Handoff towards the right side. Alec Bowman just short, and he'll get it forward to the 2-yard line. Haven't seen many carries from Bowman this season.
Second and 2.
Not a ton of work as they've had some backs rotating in there. That's actually just his second carry of the season. Had one rush prior to that for just 1 yard. So second down and goal from the 2. Here in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Newaygo moves forward with 5 down linemen. Stacking the box here with 2 yards to go to Pater. Strickler in the pistol, hands it off. Gorchevich puts his shoulder down and chops his feet till he gets into the end zone. 48-14, Big Rapids gets in for another touchdown. 2 minutes and 1 second left in this game. Well, and what a long and time-consuming drive there for Big Rapids. Drains over 4 minutes on that drive.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. That's exactly what Coach Seltzer, Coach Pedigo wanted to do. And then, I mean, the scoring is just butter on top. You just want to run this clock out and the game.
The snap is back, the kick is up, and it floats just right of the upright. That wind is crazy, especially when you're kicking that way, and Ali has made it look fairly easy, but that time it did come back. And the score will stay 48-14 with 2 minutes left of this fourth quarter. .48 points, easily the most this year, beating their new season high of 29 points. They scored that in week 6 against Tri-County. That was an overtime game. Had the 22 points in regulation in that game. 27 Was the highest number they'd scored in regulation prior to that game. Now they put up 48 against Newaygo. And after about 2 minutes, they'll extend their game one more season. Ball on the tee, and the kick is away. Up the middle, rolls past the 35, picked up, and now going towards the left side and pushed out of bounds near the 50-yard line. Remy Wells on the return to get them into, well, get them right at midfield to start this drive. So the rushing attack today for Big Rapids Big. Jack Cooley has 3 rushing touchdowns. Justin Gorchevich has 2, and then a couple through the air for Will Strickler, who's had a pretty nice day as well.
I'm going to lean towards Jack right now for the player of the game.
That's where my mind was going as well.
He just set the tone for this game. I mean, Will's done a fantastic job managing this offense, you know, all game long, but I mean, Jack just set the tone. Just smash you in the face, run it down your throat. You know, my favorite play he's had is actually when they were on like the 2-yard line down here on the north side of the field, and I think they had 1 or 2 downs where they weren't able to get in, and then Jack just said, "Give me the ball," put his head down, pounded one in.
Handoff up the middle, and Wismar has some room. He gets across the 40. A stiff arm helps him get across the 30, the 20. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he's into the end zone. He had one man to beat there once he got to the sideline. That was Kyson Storm Williams, and he laid out for it and couldn't catch him. Put 6 on the line score. It's 48-20. Still a minute 46 left.
Wow, that's some speed. Coach Pedigo was not kidding. There's speed out of that backfield. It's, you know, a shame for the Lions that first time we really see it on display is with a minute 46 to go in the game. And that's a big pat on the back to the Cardinals defense for containing Wismar all game.
Well, the first half, even the 21-6 score at halftime was extremely interesting. We had no points in the first half. 27 points collectively scored in the second quarter. And then Big Rapids took off after that, but it looked like a very convincing game in the first half. It looked like Newaygo was just going to have to come up with some adjustments to make on the offensive side at halftime. We didn't really see that. The game through the air just did not work out. I mean, you look at Brechting, he was 1 for 8 in that first half. Did add a passing touchdown here in the second half, but not nearly enough time or points to come back in this second half.
I think you can see what Van Essen's strategy was in this game. He wanted to just kind of classic, you know, offensive strategy versus a team that can stop the run, right? Cardinals are pretty effective against the run. He wanted to spread them out. He wanted to get Brechting passing the ball early on, spread out the defense to the edges, as well as maybe even have some of your safeties have to stay back in coverage, and then you can run the ball up the middle, establish the ground game, and then start to work to the outside. That's most likely what Coach Van Essen was planning on doing, but Brechting just was not able to hit a target. The Cardinals had pretty decent coverage early on in this game, and then they just shut down the run all game long.
And the ball falls over again. We have a bunch of whistles, and they will bring a holder out for the Lions. A minute 46 left on the clock. It's a 48-20 lead for Big Rapids here in the fourth quarter. Ball back on the tee, and the ball off the tee again. I think you're just going to have to bite the bullet, Newaygo.
Just hold it.
Have to hold it. Big Rapids has had to hold it. Newaygo's had to hold it before, and the wind's not going away anytime soon. They will bring in a holder, and the ball still upright at the 40-yard line. The kick booted deep, and Sam Alley will have it go off his hand. He picks it up at the 2-yard line, getting back towards the middle of the field. Now breaking left, gets hit hard while moving towards the 25. And they will mark it down at the 25, 1st and 10 for the Cardinals from there. Interesting decision to kick it straight away, and also an interesting decision to not just let that go into the end zone if you're Sam Alley.
Sam Alley is a player, though. He likes to play, he likes to have fun, so I don't think it would have been too much fun for him to let that one go. When you're up by 28 with 1:39 to go, let's have some fun, you know?
Minute 39, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line, and a 28-point lead for the Cardinals. Easily their biggest margin of victory this season, as they're coming out in victory formation. Snap and the knee by Will. Mentioned coming into this game, they were outscored by opponents this season 99-105, but their average margin of victory was 10 points. And after a few more knees here, it'll be a 28-point victory for Big Rapids. They'll move their record so far this season as they've completed the first round of the playoffs to 4-3. They were 3-2 before entering week 6. Had to forfeit a game because of COVID issues. Made it 3-3, and now they collect a win here in the pre-district round to improve to 4-3 and keep their season alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at the conclusion of today's game, we ask that all fans please exit the stadium.
So it's 3rd down, 43 seconds left on the clock, and Will Strickler, the rest of this Big Rapids offense, just waiting to kneel it out. 34 seconds now, and that knee will do it as both teams will walk towards their sidelines. A hard-fought game, but Big Rapids offense proves to be superior as they put up 48 points, 2 through the air and many more through the ground. Jack Cooley finishes with 3 rushing touchdowns. Justin Gorchevich with 3 rushing touchdowns. And the Big Rapids fans happy to see their guys line up at midfield, ready to shake hands with Newaygo as the clock hits zeros. 48-20, the final score from Top Taggart Field here on the campus of Ferris State University. We'll take a 4-minute break, and we'll come back to wrap things up here on Big Country 100.9.